Hello everyone, we are Group 10 and today we're going to be talking to you about our project, which is looking at the relationship between recycling contamination and consumer awareness about waste sorting, specifically limited to the UMass Amherst community. Contamination is a rampant issue in waste management. In UMass Amherst, a 2019 audit of our waste management systems found that in recycling streams, about a quarter of materials were unwanted contaminants. Contamination can make recycling more expensive. It decreases the quality of recyclables entering the commodity market, and it creates potentially dangerous work environments. Higher contamination rates lead to the rates of recycling decreasing, causing increased production of virgin plastics, landfill waste, and the creation of microplastics and pollution. So the purpose of our study was to answer the question, to what extent does the lack of knowledge and consumer misuse contribute to recyclable waste that ends up in landfills? And we hypothesized that if there are higher levels of low consumer awareness, then we're going to see higher levels of contamination. But obviously, there are other variables. Our study was inspired by the waste and recycling quiz sent out by Living Sustainably at UMass.
In order to conduct our case study 2, we created an online survey through Google Forms and we sent it out to UMass students. We distributed the quiz through our team's various social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Discord, and the Icons mailing list. We selected 40 items and we put them into 8 distinct categories. The items that we selected came from the UMass Amherst quiz, and our answers came from the UMass Amherst 2019 audit. In order to have full participation and engagement, we had an incentive of a $25 gift card to the UMass campus store. And with this quiz, we assume that all students taking the quiz was currently living on campus, have lived on campus, or will eventually live on campus.
Okay, so out of the 22,000 undergrad students enrolled at UMass Amherst, we surveyed 162 of them. And figure 1 shows the average percentage of incorrect answers of the 8 recycling categories that we chose. And as you can see, we found that on average, paperboard items, and this includes items like cereal boxes, bulk beverage packaging, and milk cartons, were the least understood, and glass items were the most understood. Figure 1 doesn't account for the variability of answers within each category, so instead we took the outliers of the categories and put them into Figure 2. And most notably, the bulk beverage items had a really high percentage of incorrect answers of over 91%. And lastly, in Figure 3, we compared the capture rates of various items to the percent of incorrect answers. So the capture rate is the percentage of recyclable material that's diverted from the trash system. And we were able to obtain this data from a 2019 UMass waste audit. And when we compare these two variables, we can see that there's a slight inverse relationship between the capture rates and the percentage incorrect. So for example, craft paper had a high capture rate of around 87%, and it also had a low percentage of incorrect answers of 5%.
So now that we have talked about our results, we also have to acknowledge some of the limitations that we had, and that would be our sample size, as well as the assumption that everyone answered truthfully and that their answers reflected on how they practiced recycling in real life. Now, for the sample size, it is only 167 students. However, it consists of only first year and second year students, and these people make most of the campus community. So the sample size can be thought of as representative of the community as a whole. Secondly, our study brings in bigger implications as we have seen that consumer awareness is directly proportional to the rate of capture, which means that it is imperative that we have better outreach programs and awareness programs for recycling that makes the more consumers more informed about their choices. And we also have to have better and more transparent labeling in products so that people know what is actually recyclable and what is not. And our study also opens up further avenues into research into waste such as food waste that makes up around 30% of the total waste from UMass. And we believe that this can be very important to see how consumer awareness affects that. So that would be it, and thank you for listening to us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.